Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. And if you've been with me since January of 2023, you will know that Embracing the Fight is about normalizing the conversation surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Embracing the Fight on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere social media embracing the fight. Except on Instagram, it's embracing the fight underscore. And I would love to have you as a guest. So if you can, just take some time out and do that. So, what are we talking about today here on Embracing the Fight? We're talking about the seasons of life. So let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment and pause. Just breathe deep. In through your nose, slowly exhale through your mouth. Again. Now that you've gotten yourself centered, what I want you to think about is today's episode is not really about fixing anything. It's more about, honoring who you are. We don't take a lot of time to really look at the different seasons of life that we've been through because we're so busy, living it. And you know what they say, it's hard to see the picture when you're side or inside of the frame. So if you click play on this episode, just know it wasn't by accident. This episode is specifically for you because we're all in different seasons. Some of us are in a season of becoming. Some of us are, in that season of sorrow, the season of breaking. Some of us are in a season of rest that we didn't ask for. And some, you're finally in your season of harvest. And you know what? You might not quite know, how to deal with it because sometimes, harvest can be overwhelming. Imagine, just getting millions of orders and you can only span hundreds of thousands. Wherever you are, just know that you're welcome in this season of life. Think about life in general as when you were a child. It doesn't look the same, as it did as it does now that you're an adult. But if you think about it, there is a whole lot of truth to different seasons, in life. Because you hear people, referring to seasons all the time. They'll say, oh, this is just a season, or it's my season, or this too shall pass, or better days, are coming. But what those people don't tell you, or what they don't talk about enough, is how sometimes these seasons can be very lonely. And you can feel, you know, like you're the only one who's actually living through something like this. But the truth is, seasons aren't neat. There's not like a transcript or a book or a list that you can follow. They don't start on January 1st, with New Year's resolutions, and they don't end with a bow on December 31st. They don't. Sometimes a season starts with a love. Be someone that you truly, truly love. It can start with a diagnosis like cancer, or you can find out that you've had a stroke. Sometimes it can start with a realization, something you just can't unsee anymore. Like you could see a person or situation for the first time for what it really is. And sometimes this may be the toughest one. A season starts the moment that you admit truth to yourself. Think about it. You can't lie to yourself. That has to be the most honest part. But you gotta realize too that not every season is about growth. People, try to make seasons and tough times and things that you're going through about growth. No, no. Sometimes they're about survival. And you know what? Surviving is still sacred. It's what you need. It's what you have to do to continue to forge forward, to move. But the thing is, you have to call a thing a thing. So, have you named your season? Or did you know that it was important to give your name a season? All right, so let's take a moment. Let's slow this down. Listen quietly and ask yourself, what season am I in right now? Really? What made you think that you're in that season? And I don't want you to just, you know, give it an answer that you give at work or, the corporate answer or the answer that you give on social media, the answer that you expect people to want to hear. No, I don't want that answer. I want the truly honest answer, the only answer, the answer that you can't lie to yourself. Are you in a season of healing, of grief, of hurt, of pain, of reinvention, of waiting, of joy, of letting go, of fear, of pain, of learning how to truly trust yourself again? Because once you mess yourself up, you start to second guess. You start to wonder, is this what I should be doing? And how did I get here? You know what? One of the bravest things that you can do is truly to name your season without judgment. Don't put those things on yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't call yourself names. Don't look at yourself in a negative way, because you just have to know that you're not behind. You're not broken. You're truly not failing, because anytime you think you're failing, you've learned something and you're going forward. You're becoming who this season that you're in right now requires you to be. Think about it. Seasons just don't come out of nowhere. They come based off of where you are in your life and the things that you've done and the things that you've seen. So, how do you truly walk in this season? You speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. You get that little nervous sound. You still have to talk about it. You still have to speak your truth. So, let's talk about that type of truth. It's not polished. It's not the one, that sounds good in quotes and in these journals and these books that we're reading. It's the truth that lives in here. The truth that you sometimes have to swallow just, just to keep the peace. It's the truth you silence, to avoid being misunderstood. Because sometimes we speak from our heart and people have no idea what it is we're truly trying to say. So sometimes we're okay with just being silent. But there's one thing about that I know for sure. The unspoken truth doesn't disappear. But what it does is it settles into the body. And then it becomes, something like tension and stress. It becomes exhaustion because you're doing everything you can, to keep it from springing forth. It becomes resentment too, because you don't feel like you can talk to these people that say they love you, they say they care for you. And then, you know what eventually happens? It becomes disconnection, not from just the people around you, but from yourself. Think about it. When you don't even feel like you can talk, you start to look at yourself and wonder why you can't speak your own truth. Speaking your truth doesn't always mean, that you have to say it out loud, to everyone. Sometimes, it just starts with, saying it to yourself in the mirror, getting some pen and paper and writing it down, saving it, like as a voice note in your phone, seeking therapy and saying it in therapy, sometimes uttering a prayer. Sometimes you jump in your car and you're the only one in there. You can say it with your windows rolled up. Truth being spoken out loud is healing in itself. Truth spoken privately is still just as powerful because you've given those words life. Speak things as though they are so. Now ask yourself, where am I not allowing myself? Because you're the one who has to allow yourself, you have to give yourself permission to be able to speak your truth. So, where am I not allowing myself to be honest? Where is it in your life? Really think about that. And something else I want you all to think about, when you thrive in your season, it looks different, in every season. So we need to like dismantle or break down this idea that thriving always looks like hustle. It looks like joy. It looks like achievement. It can look like many, many different things. Thriving in one season, it might look like, I don't know, a whole lot of, stacks of money. It might look like I got out of bed before 8 a.m. It looks like setting boundaries. Oh no, I don't drink. It doesn't matter what it's for. That's not something that I do. It looks like choosing rest when people are trying to get every little ebb they can out of you. And then sometimes it looks like saying no without explaining. Let your no be no because you're protecting, yourself in the season. But then, you know what, the next season or another season, thriving might look like, taking some risks. Or on the flip side of things, saying yes, to visibility. Because no was protecting you in the previous season, but saying yes is getting you out there. Or it could look like, you letting yourself be seen because truth be told, a lot of us, like if you've gone through divorce, some type of hurt or some type of pain, you tend to hide, you tend to shy away. But we're talking about thriving. So, what does thriving look like for you in this season? You know what? It might simply be not abandoning yourself. Take a moment to think about that. If all you did today was choose yourself one time, just one time today, guess what? You're thriving. A lot of people can't say that they've chosen themselves anytime today, but if you chose yourself, you have done that. You're thriving. All right. The next one, which is most important to me, is walking fully in your season unapologetically. So think about it. Here's the hard truth. A lot of people just don't understand the season that you're in. They'll look at you one day and think, oh, she's got this or oh, she got that, and everything is going wonderful. Then the next time they see you, they look like you've been beat down. And they're judging you, they're picking, what season you're in. But guess what? They'll miss the version of you that you overgave. They'll question the version of you that rests. Then they'll resist the version of you that has boundaries. Why? Because they want what they want out of you. Well, let them do it. Let them do whatever they want to do. But you're not here to perform comfort for others in any season. Now, I'm not talking about offering comfort for grief, but I'm saying When it compromises who you are and how you feel, that's not for their comfort. You have to be true to yourself. You have to walk in your season. That means you have to be able to release guilt, release comparison. You can't, constantly look at yourself and look down on yourself because you're not where your friends are or where the people are that you thought that you should have been ahead of them. And then you have to release timelines that were never yours. Think about it. People put a lot of pressure on themselves in certain seasons. Oh, I gotta get this business started by this time, and oh, I gotta have kids, by this time. That is not your story. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to outgrow. You are allowed to choose differently. There is no manual. There is no directive that says that you have to do a certain thing a certain way by a certain time. Things happen in due time, in due season. So let's do something. Let's do like a gentle reflection exercise. So if it's safe for you, like if you're driving, don't do it because I don't need to hear anybody saying they ran off the road or some craziness because they closed their eyes. But take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what is this season asking of me? What do I need more of right now? What must I release to move forward? No rushing, no fixing. Just listen. Listen to what your heart had to say to those questions. Listen to what your soul had to say. Whatever came through, just trust it because that is your inner self that's speaking. That is your inner child. You have to listen to it. It is guiding you through your next season. So let me encourage you. That's what I love to do anyway. I want to speak directly to you, you who's listening right now. Again, you aren't late. You are not, absolutely not invisible. You're not wasting your life. There's something in you that is so great and so amazing that's waiting to be born in this season. And this season, yes, it absolutely matters because you're here. Think about it. Even the quiet ones, the painful ones, the ones you wouldn't wish on anyone else. Those seasons are the ones that are shaping the depth in us or the depth in you that can't be rushed. Sometimes you have to walk in it. Sometimes you have to sit in it. Sometimes you just have to let yourself feel everything. And one day you'll look back and you'll realize, you'll just say, hey, this season, it might have been rough, it might have been tough, but guess what? It didn't break me. It didn't cause me to lose my mind. It truly did introduce me to myself and to who I am becoming. So the question is, what season are you in? Are you allowing yourself to live freely and feel this season? Who knows? This season may be what you need to get back on your feet, to change your life, to be better. So, as I close, what I would like to say is you need to honor your season, no matter what it is. Speak your truth and let thriving look exactly like what you actually need and not what people are saying. Oh, your season should look like this or thriving should look like that. No, you got the definition in your head or in your heart. So if this episode resonated with you, Please share it with someone who might need permission to be where they are. And if you feel led, what I need you to do tonight is get your journal or get your notebook and write. In this season of my life, I am learning. And then expand on whatever it is that you're learning in this season. Because you know what I found? When you look back in journals, you'll see how you felt in certain seasons in life. And you can tell if there's been growth, stagnation, or if you've been going back. What I pray is that you've experienced growth and that your season continues to allow you to thrive. So as you go through seasons of life, don't be so hard on yourself because you have the strength and the power within you to get through each and every one. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to watch this episode of Embracing the Fight Seasons of Life. And as always, I want you all to have an absolutely amazing day.